Hello, I'm back with my third and final step of my experiment to separate blooming keikis from a mother orchid plant. Just to show you what's gone on. To refresh your memory, or if this is the first of my videos that you've seen, I had a question about a mother orchid plant that grew, had 3 stems, and from those stems grew 3 keikis. Now you can see that this keiki is still attached and has 3 blooms, which have still not opened, but they don't look like they're gonna fall off, so I'm very hopeful. Also, there's a little bud, looks like I don't know the technical term, but it looks like it's going to have a bloom from there. And usually if the plant's not doing well, or if it's not going to be able to support a new bloom, that will just turn like a really light color and just kind of shrivel up and eventually just fall off. So the fact that that is really nice and dark greenish, brownish, has a nice healthy color to it, I'm very hopeful because of that. The other keikis, as you can hopefully see here, are also doing quite well. They've been in this media. Let me see if I can show you the one with the blooms hanging down. There we go. So that one's doing okay as well. The only issue being that these roots of the keikis are kind of underneath the bark. So I was putting a lot of effort into watering them. So I was spraying the bark with a little water every day pretty much, because the roots always had that kind of like silvery color, which means that they're dry. So unfortunately the mother's roots were also kind of overexposed to that water, and so got root rot, which stinks. There's one good root left, so I don't know if this mother plant is going to make it. Also, I'm not sure if I'm using the very best media. I tried this new bark mix from the store, and it's working pretty well, but this root doesn't look too happy. I don't know if you can see right there. Anywho, I'm not sure if it may just be the plant is just under stress. So either way, I am going to go ahead and separate the third and final keiki that is blooming from the mother plant, because I really don't think that it's really expecting very much good to come of this poor plant with only one root left supporting itself and this blooming keiki. So the keiki's doing well. I do still want it to bud, but I would rather also keep all 4 plants. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same steps I've done before. I've got my pot with the orchid mix, same as before. I'm going to go ahead and remove this little stick here. Do-do-do. All right. Excellent. So I've got my scissors again, and I sterilized them with alcohol. So I'm going to just grasp by the stem, and I'm going to cut as close to the base as possible, so it's less for the mother keiki to worry about. So I'm just going to snip, put that down. So I am going to use my cinnamon prevent any infection. Oh, come here. Okay. So I'll just put it on the old stem here. That was a lot. Okay. And I'm going to, I think I'm actually, I will pot it in the dish. I will. Let's do that. I'm just gonna set it in here. Put some bark around, stabilize the plant. Okay. So now the mother plant's been transplanted and hopefully will survive. I'm going to do the same. Actually, I think I'm going to trim more of this stem off of the Keiki. Oh my gosh, there's a brand new little root coming from there. Do you see it? It's so cute. Okay, so I'm not going to cut there anymore. I'm going to cut here though. Oop, there we go. Kind of cut close to that stem. All right. And just get a little more cinnamon. And I'm going to try to avoid getting any cinnamon on the roots, because I've heard that it can really dry them out. So I'm just going to do my best to get it on that little cut wound. And I am going to plant this with the mother plant so that it's regulated the environment for the other pot where the other keikis are doing quite well. So I'm going to go ahead and keep these two together now. And actually put this deeper down here. Hard to know what to do when it's growing like this, because you'd think that it would be sitting up like this with the roots growing down. The flower stem is growing that direction, just the way they were growing from the mother plant, so it can be a bit interesting figuring out how to position the keikis. So I'm going to position it this way, because that makes most sense to me right now. I want the leaves to be able to get light, and I want to be able to enjoy the flowers. And I do want the roots still to be protected. Okay, and so there we have it. We have our original plant with the blooming keiki now in the pot with it. It's completely separated from all the keikis. It has one surviving root left, so hopefully we'll see this plant survive and come back. And then we still have the other pot with the other two keikis that were separated weeks ago. And again, as you can see, they're doing quite well. So, the conclusion of my experiment: separate the keikis. Even if they're blooming, you want to separate the keikis from the mother plant, because A, it's a lot of stress and energy draining from the mother plant to keep the keikis alive. B, you could have a situation like I did where you're trying to care for multiple plants and you're giving maybe more water than the mother plant needs because you're trying to keep the keiki roots watered. So that may not have happened actually if I had potted them in separate pots, but I did want to give the other two keikis a chance to have their environment regulated by the mother plant as well, so that's why I did that. So if you wanted to just leave one blooming keiki on the mother plant, then it may be possible to just plant that in its own separate pot and make sure that you don't water it too much. However, in the future, if this ever happens to me, what I'm going to do is just separate the keikis as soon as possible. I didn't know as much as I know now about keikis and orchids when I first noticed that this orchid was throwing out keikis. And I had never had an experience with multiple keikis. So this is just a learning experience that I will definitely separate the keikis from the mother orchid. And hopefully all four of these orchids will survive and do well. And hope yours do too. Thanks for watching.